Hey everyone, welcome to Saturday Night Popcorn. This is Jason.
And this is Kai, and we have another great discussion for you today. The movie of the day is The Voices, not to be confused with the TV show The Voice. This is a movie from 2014 with wonderful Ryan Reynolds. It's almost 10 years old, which blows my mind. It feels like
Right?
2014 was just the other day. But yeah, let's get into
Yeah, young Ryan Reynolds. I was telling Patty next to me. I was like, this is before he was like super buff and everything for Deadpool.
it. Well, did X-Men Origins already come out at this point? Wasn't that like
Oh, I
2013,
don't know,
2012?
man. That was a horrible one. Yeah,
That was a bad one.
maybe, but yeah,
That was
there's
during
a
that writer's
young.
strike, right?
Was it? I can't remember
Or what? There was something going on like that plagued that movie, and it just was a piece of crap.
the story, the
Well, yeah,
everything.
yeah, they tried, they tried. I'll give them
But
that.
a
That
young
was oh
Ryan
nine,
Reynolds, and Anna Kendricks, right?
and a Kendrick pitch perfect.
Yeah. So, and this is like an interesting movie because it's like you could tell it's kind of like early on, I guess, in their careers. I guess you would assume, but Ryan Reynolds, I think, has been
No,
in a lot of
so I
movies.
looked that up though. Uh, Pitch Perfect came out in 2012, so it wasn't like super new in their career, and
Oh,
she's been acting since she was a kid, so
crazy.
she was established.
Maybe they like this. Maybe they like the script. Uh,
It's
but
a
I
cool
guess
premise.
yeah, they stand out. I think that's the main
Yeah,
thing is that they
yeah,
stand out, and you can tell that they're like at a much different level in terms of acting and
yes.
performance and everything
Mhm.
compared to the rest of them, which is like not bad, but
Very true.
you can tell why they're still in the mainstay of like
Hmm.
of acting right now and stuff. But it is a good premise, I think, and
Yeah,
that's one of the main points for me.
and I
But
think that's
what
what
would you like most
I th-
about the movie?
um I think the premise, like I think that's what drew me in the beginning was I think I was scrolling through TikTok, another creator was reviewing this film, and I was like, I've never even heard of this, and I sent it to you like, hey, let's check it out. So I think that's what drew me in, like the fact that you're watching someone that doesn't really know what they're doing or acts as if they don't know what they're doing, but they're controlled by voices in their heads to do these devious acts. And you're kind of like, okay, how is this going to play out? So that's what drew me in. And I think that's what had me continue watching it. Like, I did lose focus at some points, but I think at least the beginning pulled you in enough where it was like, oh, this is interesting. Let's see how it is. And then there were some moments where I was like, all right, yeah, I'm not really feeling this.
True, true. I think the moment that and it's kind of like later in the movie for me,
Hmm.
the moment that I like was hooked and kind of was like, all right, I get this premise. This is really good. This is like
Hmm.
different. Is when he decides to take the medication, and then you
Oh
see
yeah,
what his reality is, as opposed to his like
the
magical kind of
rose-colored
fantasy.
glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I like immediately I turned to Patty, and Patty was like, "Yeah, that's cool." And you
Well,
don't
because
see that too
even
often, too.
yeah, that did change it a lot for me. That's true. Because you're just like watching as if like they had that moment after he did his first murder, and you see all of these like Tupperware bins, and you're like, all right. And then 2 seconds later, they're all gone. It's a clean apartment. So I was like, oh dang, he really put in some work. But then yeah, like you said, as soon as he took that pill, those rose-colored glasses got removed, and you're like, oh no, he's just living with all this mess.
But also, are we to assume that we saw how he deals with the body after
Hmm.
the first kill, like the accounting lady.
Yeah.
Um, but then when the rose-colored glasses, like you said,
Hmm.
go away, you see that there's bags and blood and more. So
Yeah.
we're assuming that's not his first time doing this. It was just more so, is he good at like
Yeah.
repressing things? Because like we assumed that I was like sort of in the middle when he first killed that girl. I was like, is this like the first time he's killed?
Hmm.
Like why is he under surveillance basically by a state ordered therapist and stuff.
Yeah,
So there had to have been something. But are we to assume that he has more?
I
Because
guess because that's what kind of caught me off guard too, because there was so many bins and there was so many bags and there was just stuff everywhere. So yeah, I didn't think about that while I was watching it, but that makes sense that that wasn't his first time doing that. Doing that, it might have been his first time doing that to someone that he quote unquote loves
knew.
or is
Yeah.
into. But I don't. There's no way with all of those bins and trash bags. Like, there's no way that was his first time.
Yeah, like he's a legit serial killer
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Like he lives on top of a bowling alley.
Which is crazy. It was a nice place. I'll give him that. Like when it was clean and he had
Well,
the
yeah, when
rose-colored
he was
glasses on.
looking at it clean and everything.
Yeah. Like the reality of it was a mess. And then
Yeah,
the cat is evil, man. Like
yeah,
whatever
and
voice.
okay. Did you figure out who voices the cat and the dog?
I think he voices the cat, I
Yeah,
think.
he voices both of them. I was like,
Oh, I didn't know he did the dog too. Okay.
yeah, it's a good way to save money, I guess.
Yeah. Like you're getting the biggest check you've ever gotten. You're doing
Yeah,
three voices.
there you go. Yeah, I think the concept of this movie where it's like there's that realization where it's like whoa, like, and you begin to question everything that the character goes through, like
Yeah.
I right now what's popping up in my head is that time where he was talking to the police chief or whatever, the sheriff that
Hmm.
came up on him and he was like grabbing all the things to saw the lady in half and
Yeah.
everything or whatever. Like was that conversation altered by his non-use of the medication, or like it's more so like which whose lens are you watching this movie through?
Hmm.
Because you're watching it through Ryan Reynolds movie at some point, but then you get this realization that like when someone else snaps into it, it's like whoa. So you're wondering as to what these other
What actually
experiences
went
are.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even his interactions at work. Like that was all probably through his rose-colored glasses. So he was like, "Oh, these people like me and they want to be around me and all this." And they probably wanted nothing, or obviously they didn't want anything to do with him.
Me too. I was like his like all the suits are pink, this vibrant pink and everything. I was like,
Yeah.
is this really what it looks like?
The tape is pink, like all of that.
That's true. I think that's what's cool about it. Where like it like it's a good concept and
Hmm.
a good yeah. That's exactly what I wrote down. I wanted to say I don't know if you have seen the movie, but the moment it started, I kind of got this feeling of the movie Bernie with Jack Black. You ever seen that
Oh
movie?
no, I haven't seen that one. No.
That was really good because it's like another where it's this funny guy
Hmm.
plays like this sort of serious kind of like whoa, like this is kind of different and everything. It's not to the extreme
Oh,
of Robin Williams playing the photograph guy.
oh goodness.
So it's not to that extreme, but I had some
Okay.
feelings of like this is Bernie. This is like everyone believes he's the nice guy or whatever. Like he's this cool kind of floating through life. But then he has this kind of like event or something, or like this backstory to him, which was another great concept. And I think what we're kind of getting to is that the execution of the concept was probably not so
Yeah. Yeah.
good.
There was a moment, and I don't know why my brain like went to that, but the moment where he after he stops taking the pills again. So he took the pill, you realize like, oh snap, I can't live in this reality. And pours all the pills down and it like he starts basically starts over again. For some reason that like montage of that set of scenes reminded me of the Lego movie, the Everything is Awesome song. And like that's where my brain went. And I was like, I don't know why my brain went here, but this is what this reminds me
I, that's
of.
sort of
I
probably the
don't
same
know.
thing for the character too, where it's like, all right, everything's awesome now.
Exactly, yeah. Like, ooh, I don't want that sadness. Give me this smiley stuff. Give me the happy stuff back.
Yeah, I
But
I
yeah,
don't know.
what you were saying about the execution,
I
like,
think there's something missing. I don't know.
yeah,
I just like I was like, okay, I think there could have been much better ways of doing this.
A lot of things work. That's the crazy part because a lot of things worked in this, like
Hmm.
showing both perspectives, his interactions with the animals, his interactions with like some of the characters too. Like that all worked, but yeah, there was something that didn't keep at least keep me fully entertained throughout the entire duration of the movie.
Yeah, I don't. I it's like it's hard to explain because it's like
Hmm.
yeah, like you said, like Anna Kendrick's character is like we've all worked in offices and everything. Like it sort of reminds you of like working in an office. Everyone's cordial, but
Hmm.
everyone's trying to do their job too and everything, and everyone's just trying to get through the day and kind of go home. And
Exactly.
or everyone's trying to get off the clock and go party and stuff like the woman in the beginning where it's like
Yeah.
I want to go dance, I want to go sing and everything because I want to forget what I do as a job.
Hmm.
Or forget what town I'm living in, like the English woman. But yeah, there's like there's like something missing,
I
and I
couldn't
can't really
pinpoint it.
pinpoint. Yeah, me too. I can't pinpoint
Yeah.
it.
Like even in my dislikes, I couldn't. The only dislike I really had was the cinematography, but that probably is part of the fact that it was probably a low budget film, outside of however much they paid the actors and actresses. But yeah, it was something like something that they should have given because they even gave us backstory, they gave us
Yeah.
flashbacks, all of that. Like so, this should have worked, but yeah, something about that execution was just like nah.
What was it about the cinematography? Because like, and for me, I was like, there are some good shots, like the like
Yeah.
when the first victim's car breaks down, like it's
Hmm.
very like pulled back, and there's also that like time where like I think they're walking in the forest when he's about to kind of kill her
Oh,
and
killer.
everything.
Yeah.
So there's some good shots,
Hmm.
but I wonder like is it the color?
For me, it was the color. Like there was
Yeah.
a scene where the two male co-workers show up to his house,
Hmm.
and it's like super, super blue for like absolutely no reason, and it just didn't work. That was the big
Yeah,
one. Like other than that, it wasn't too bad. But that one scene, I was like, oh goodness.
it makes sense because it's like it could possibly answer like why we're kind of like double thinking the execution of this movie because like
Hmm.
no I guess no one can really believe unless you're really into like film and like the camera and all that stuff that just that change in the color filter or something in the cinematography can make a movie drastically different and
But
everything.
it's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised. But
Did you have any dislikes?
for me, I think it was like, yeah, it was the execution, but for me, it was the ending that changed it a lot. Where I was like, okay, like I thought I get like right away. I was like, when he was kind of like making the decision to kind of like relinquish control of what's going on and everything. Where like the
Hmm.
cat's telling him like, hey, just escape. We can kind of fill up more refrigerators or whatever. And the
Hmm.
dog's like, no, I think you're done. And I thought it was gonna be like almost like a kind of like again Dante's Inferno movie that we're gonna be watching. Like he's gonna cross
Oh.
over into like this like scary place or somewhat like scary place, but rose tinted glasses, like you say. Like he's gonna see it
Hmm.
in a different way. But then it's a completely. I wrote down that it reminds me of the endings like Austin Powers and stuff. I was like, it
It's
doesn't.
just like all right.
It just pulls you away from it, and I
Yeah.
guess it like it makes sense in terms of like the the way the character is and all that stuff like he sees reality in a different way,
Hmm.
but it's just like almost like kind of like you're like what like that's a weird ending.
Like you just like that's what you're giving us.
Yeah,
All
and then it
right.
ends and
Okay.
it's like okay,
Yeah.
like even Patty was like oh.
Because it catches you off guard. You're like you were saying, like something's gonna happen. He did all of that stuff. Something's gonna happen, and then it just doesn't. It's like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, credits.
Yeah, it just it makes sense, but I don't know. In terms of recommending or like, would you recommend this film and like who would you recommend it to?
I would recommend this. Like it's the crazy part of this freaking movie is I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but yeah, there was some moments of execution that just weren't there. But I think this would be okay for anybody. Like obviously, someone that's a Ryan Reynolds fan would enjoy this, but then people that are into this definitely isn't a scary movie.
Mm.
Um, it's more of a comedy, honestly. So people that are into like obscure comedies or just obscure movies in general, because this is obscure because I knew nothing about it. You knew nothing about it. This is very like scrolling through TikTok. I found it that way. So I think anybody would actually watch this and enjoy it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Where it's not scary, but it's like it's a fun movie to watch like in this
Hmm.
Halloween time that we're like kind of living through right now.
Yeah,
And I think you don't even have to watch it in October. You can watch it any other time
anytime. Yeah,
if you're a fan of Ryan Reynolds. Anna Kendricks, if you're
and
like,
Anna Kendrick too. Yeah, I'm a
yeah,
Pitch
if you're a
Perfect
fan of
fan.
her. So it's an interesting movie. I don't know if I would recommend this to like my parents, but like maybe like my brothers and their spouses or partners and stuff. Maybe
Hmm.
because it's an interesting watch, like you said. But then I wonder if like they would also come out where like there's something weird or different about this. like again, like most people can't like pinpoint like what they're like
What it
thinking
is.
about and stuff. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I was glad I watched it. I would say I would recommend Bernie more than this one. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Bernie takes that kind of like obscure kind of concept and executes it very well. And I think Jack Black also executes like the character very well. Even though Ryan Reynolds is not that bad
Hmm.
in terms of this character, Jack Black kind of takes it to like a different level in terms of Bernie. So I would say
Okay.
like if you like if someone come like in your life kind of says like, oh, I love this movie Bernie with Jack Black, be like, oh, there's this movie called The Voices with Ryan Reynolds that's pretty good or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, you said you had some qualms of like rating this movie. Like, what would you end up?
Yeah. I still don't know. I, I was okay. I guess maybe a 2.5 or a 3. Like I enjoyed it enough that I'm like a few months down the road I would watch this again,
Mm,
but it's not one that I'm gonna run and rewatch like tonight or tomorrow. So I would say a 2.5.
I gave it a 2.5. I was gonna give it a 3 until that ended. I was like, nope, that's done. Because like the whole concept kind of picks up when he's like actually killing the people and stuff and like
Hmm.
dealing with his therapist. So that kind of picked it up for me, and I was like, all right, this is a good concept and everything.
Yeah.
But then that ending was like, so I ended up giving it a 2.5, which is, but it's funny because like you said, like you might watch it like down the road. I might forget about this movie. I might not even like the fact that it's in my letterbox account would be the
Hmm.
only memory that I probably watched this movie. Sadly, I feel weird,
No,
but it's
no.
like, yeah, like if someone asked me like down the road, like, oh, have you watched that? I'll probably have to look in my account and be like, yeah, or
Wait a
like,
minute.
now
Like,
we
oh,
have
I
this
did.
podcast and stuff, so like, yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna. But if yeah, I would. I this is sort of like sadly like a very forgettable movie, but I'm glad
I
I
think I would have
watched
to
it.
watch it again so I can remember. Like, oh yeah, I did watch this. It might be one of those moments.
Yeah, you might forget, and then you're watching, you're like, I feel
Oh, I've
like
seen
I've seen this.
this.
Wait, and it's like I'm not a shit. I'm not like I don't feel bad for watching it. It's like
Hmm.
it's a really decent movie and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's a fun concept and everything. We haven't asked this question. Would you buy this for your movie collection?
Oh man. No. I was happy this was free on Amazon.
Me too. I was like, oh my,
Yeah.
thank God. Like, I was gonna have to pay like $3 or $5 for this thing.
I actually would have been more angry if I would have had to pay the $3 or $5 for this. So I'm happy this was free.
Probably, I think that kind of like lessened the blow of like if we
Yeah.
had to pay for it and stuff. But yeah, this was an interesting one.
Yeah. I'm happy we
But
watched it. Like you said, I'm happy we watched it. we can say we watched it. We recorded this, so people are gonna know we watched it.
Yeah. Well, all right, Kai, you want to take us out?
Yeah, thanks for joining us for another episode of Saturday Night Popcorn. I'm Kai.
And I'm Jason, and we'll see you in the next one. And please like and subscribe to our channel, Saturday Night Popcorn, and this video.